Hello, students. Thank you for joining us offline in good numbers and online also. Happy to see you all. Uh, Today we'll be doing Delhi. Most of you have Delhi in your DAF, that is why you are here in this session. And Delhi is usually in a lot of other people DAF also, if we are not from Delhi also, because DU, IITs, whatever colleges you have done in Delhi. Now, Delhi has range of issues, 100%, right? The classic issue of Delhi is the federal issue, right? Now you might say that it's not relevant क्योंकि सरकार बदल गई है, बट कभी भी वो सरकार आ सकती है तो इशू वापस आ जाएगा, है ना? You could see so many fights that took place between LG and CM, previous CM. ठीक है, तो अपना एक कैटेगरी, these are the macro theme, these are not the micro themes, है ना? तो एक थीम मुझे बनानी हो तो गवर्नेंस एंड फेडरल इश्यूज की मैक्रो थीम आई कैन क्रिएट. फिर दूसरा जो प्रेसिंग एवरग्रीन इशू है दैट्स एनवायरनमेंट, राइट? इसमें पोल्यूशन भी जोड़ दो, ठीक है? मतलब ये दो तो हॉट टॉपिक्स हैं दिल्ली के, ठीक है? वाटर with respect to Yamuna या waste management, I can create another major macro theme. ठीक है, what else? Law and order डाल दे, हाँ? Yes, बहुत सारे रीजंस की वजह से. एक तो पुलिस सेंटर के पास होती है, दूसरा दिल्ली में बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं. तो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर एंड पब्लिक सेफ्टी कैपिटल है आपकी, तो आप कैसे छोड़ोगे लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को? यस, ठीक है. और क्या मेजर इशू हो सकता है? सबसे ज्यादा तो आई थिंक प्रीवियस गवर्नमेंट ने, द गुड पार्ट अबाउट द प्रीवियस गवर्नमेंट हैज बीन दैट दे ब्रॉट इन health and education in the discussion of mainstream politics. I mean, you can criticize Aam Aadmi Party as much as you want, but they ensured that health and education is being talked about at least in the political discourse. इससे पहले चुनावों में आप कभी नहीं देखते थे कि शिक्षा और मोहल्ला क्लिनिक्स पे कभी चुनाव लड़ा गया हो, ठीक है? ये बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट है. अगर पॉलिटिशियंस ऐसे इश्यूज को डिस्कोर्स में भी ले आते हैं तो यू शुड बी गिवन क्रेडिट फॉर दैट, ठीक है? तो हेल्थ एंड एजुकेशन, I mean, with respect to their model also, can they be replicated across India? Was it successful or not? There you can have your opinions, है ना? But naturally it has become a macro theme to be talked about with respect to Delhi. ठीक है. इकोनॉमी तो खैर हर जगह होता ही है. लाइक अब कुछ थीम्स हैं जो एवरग्रीन हर स्टेट के साथ है. इकोनॉमी उसमें एक होगी, तो दिल्ली के केस में भी होगी. हम प्रॉब्ली डिस्कस कर पाए आज या नहीं, बट मोर और लेस जो आंसर्स होंगे दे विल बी सिमिलर टू योर प्रीवियस नो योर स्टेट स्टफ. अर्बन फ्लडिंग हम इसमें जोड़ देते हैं, वाटर में, इन्वायरमेंट में. यस, गुड क्वेश्चन. इसको फिर हम कहीं एक इन्वायरमेंट की थीम जो हमने यहाँ बनाई है यहाँ डाल सकते हैं, ठीक है? इकोनॉमी हो गया. फिर क्या? आई थिंक दिल्ली ऑल्सो हैज दिस कल्चर हेरिटेज, पुरानी दिल्ली वाला वाइब, राइट? और चांदनी चौक है, और पूरा इनको कैसे बैलेंस करना है, हेरिटेज कैसे प्रिजर्व करना है. देयर इज सो मेनी थिंग्स देयर ऑल्सो. तो एक अर्बन हेरिटेज कह लो या कल्चरल आइडेंटिटी कह लो. ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कैन कम इन, आई थिंक. लेट्स फिगर आउट. अर्बन हेरिटेज से कल्चर, आई वुड लिंक इट विद पोल्यूशन ऑल्सो मोस्टली, ठीक है? हाँ, और ऑड इवन भी दिल्ली के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में पोल्यूशन में ही फिट हुआ है, ठीक है? नहीं तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इकोनॉमी में भी डाल सकते हो आप. इकोनॉमी इज वाइड, राइट? इसमें आप इंफ्रा भी तो डालोगे. तो अर्बन हेरिटेज, कल्चर, आइडेंटिटी, राइट? लास्ट आई थिंक इफ आई हैव टू क्रिएट अ थीम जहां पे आपने दिल्ली ऑल्सो गोज थ्रू फ्लड्स, ठीक है? तो डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट, अर्थक्वेक भी, और अर्बन रेजिलियंस भी उसी में डाल देते हैं, ठीक है? तो एक लास्ट थीम वी कैन ऑल्सो क्रिएट, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट, ठीक है? I think we should also talk about housing. है ना. हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन इनइक्वालिटी भी, जो झुग्गी वाले जो एस्पेक्ट है, दे आर आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दिल्ली. यस, ठीक है, इसको हम एक्चुअली ऊपर डाल देते हैं, अर्बन इश्यूज को. ठीक है, स्ट्रे डॉग्स, अर्बन रेजिलियंस. ठीक है, अभी मैक्रो थीम्स हैं, इसके अंदर 1000 माइक्रो थीम्स बन सकते हैं. ठीक है, बट ऐसे 8 से 10 थीम बनाना जिसमें मोटा मोटा मेजर एस्पेक्ट कवर हो जाए. तो हाउसिंग, माइग्रेशन, अर्बन इनइक्वालिटी could be the last theme. So I think these 9 themes are enough जिसमें we can summarize. या एक डाल दो अर्बनाइजेशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी. कोचिंग इंडस्ट्री भी लगी रहेगी. कोचिंग इंडस्ट्री इसमें एजुकेशन में आ जाएगी. ठीक है, हेल्थ एजुकेशन इसमें आ जाएगी. बट दिल्ली के एस्पेक्ट में कोचिंग इतना नहीं प्ले करती, बिकॉज इट्स वेरी ऑब्वियस, सेल्फ अंडरस्टूड है, दिल्ली में सब पहले से ही हो रहा है. बट ये वाला इशू बहुत यूनिक है, फेडरल इशू हो गया. इफ आई हैव टू गिव वेट टू द इश्यूज, आई वुड से फेडरल इश्यूज, environment, pollution, yes, urban housing I will give priority to, health education, infra वाला एस्पेक्ट. ठीक है, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर वाला एस्पेक्ट. तो 1 2 3 4 5 6 इस पे तो बिल्कुल कमांड होनी चाहिए. ये दिल्ली है मोटा मोटा. फिर तो बनाने के लिए बहुत कुछ बन सकता है. ठीक है, पुरानी बात करते हैं, फिर फेडरल इश्यूज से शुरू करते हैं. ठीक है, मान लो कल को सरकार वापस आ जाए, फेडरल इश्यूज आने लगे, तो सोल्यूशन तो उसका रखना पड़ेगा हमें. ठीक है, शुड द इलेक्टेड दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल सर्विसेज एंड पोस्टिंग्स और शुड सेंटर रिटेन द पावर. ठीक है, सेंटर एंड सर्विस, should it go to center or the elected Delhi government? ठीक है, ठीक है. Services and posting, control services and posting, I have written shortly. ठीक है, should I repeat the question again? Should the Delhi government control services and postings or should the center retain the power? ठीक है, तो क्लासिक ओपिनियन है. राइट और लेफ्ट कहाँ आ रहा है इसमें? हाँ जी, राइट, सेंट्रल कंट्रोल. ठीक है, राइट यही कह रहा है. They are getting affected on a daily basis. So we have to come up with a nuance where both the aspects can be secured. For example, in Washington DC, the area, the capital area, has been given to the federal, the center, and the rest of the area has been to the local government. That we'll discuss when we'll come to the way forward, right? Which is a great way forward. और ये वाला proposed भी है obviously. But right would naturally say कि center should have the control, because rational क्या दे रहे हैं वो, कि it's a national capital. It's a national capital which has Supreme Court, which has foreign embassies, which has parliament. तो national security के stakes बहुत high हैं, right? So they are talking about stakes being very very high, and services and postings again will affect these stakes, है ना? ठीक है. Supreme Court also in 23 said that the all India services should be taken care by the center, but जो routine stuff है that should be looked by the state. So Supreme Court has acknowledged this concern of right, that it's because these institutions are there, so because it's an all India service, तो state के पास routine affairs के अलावा ज़्यादा कंट्रोल नहीं हो सकता. ठीक है, लेफ्ट सिंपल है. अच्छा, लेफ्ट का एक बहुत प्रोमिनेंट इसमें लेफ्ट वुड भी आम आदमी पार्टी. आम आदमी पार्टी का एक बहुत क्लियर पार्लियामेंट के स्टेटमेंट्स भी आप देखोगे कि देश डेमोक्रेसी से चलेगा, ब्यूरोक्रेसी से नहीं चलेगा. हाँ 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 हाँ, ट्रिपल चेन ऑफ अकाउंटेबिलिटी, कि हमें जनता ने बिठाया है, हम चलाएंगे. उसकी टोन कुछ भी हो सकती है कि मालिक हमें एक्सेट्रा, टोन कुछ भी हो सकती है, बट असेंस क्या था कि वी हैव बीन हाँ डेमोक्रेटिकली इलेक्टेड और हमें कहा गया है दिल्ली चलाएगी.
This is also acknowledged by Supreme Court in the GNC dictate.
या जी उसमें भी पढ़ते हैं, जीएनसीटी को भी पढ़ते हैं अभी. ठीक है, तो डेमोक्रेसी फॉर देम इज कि ब्यूरोक्रेसी मस्ट आंसर टू द इलेक्टेड एग्जीक्यूटिव, कि डेमोक्रेसी इज अबव एंड नो मैटर व्हाट द ब्यूरोक्रेसी और bureaucracy will listen, civil servants will listen to them. Elected leaders will control the civil services. ठीक है. हाँ, अब हुआ क्या था, उनका रैशनल भी यही है कि इट्स डेमोक्रेसी, इट्स द वोटर्स मैंडेट, विच इज नेचुरली ट्रू. और स्टेट्स में तो आपको यही देखने को मिलता है कि चीफ मिनिस्टर इज कंट्रोलिंग द सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ स्टेट लिस्ट. बट दिल्ली इज अ यूनिक केस. दिल्ली हैज इट्स ओन आर्टिकल्स एंड कंसर्न्स. ठीक है, तो अब वे फॉरवर्ड क्या हो सकता है इसका? A hybrid model, like Rohit also said. A hybrid model?
Because a hybrid model is probably not sustainable because there's no guarantee of synergy between the elected government and the center. Currently, we have the same party, so it works. But that does not make sense for the long term. Daily people should not be suffering just because there's a tussle ongoing.
Yeah.
But the hybrid model has also come at attention, whereby we're seeing that in Washington DC also there has been a tussle to the control of crime rate and the deployment of national guard.
Correct. Correct. So this solution that LG retains land and your police, all India service matters, and state controls your local cadre and transfers. You think it works or not? I mean, on paper it definitely works, but as you said, the feasibility of this on ground has to be looked upon.
Think about how the ways we can increase the communication on a frequent and regular basis.
Communication is a good aspect. We can bring in statutory civil services board, where you have a joint sign-off with LG, CM, and your chief secretary. I think that is better in terms of giving a solution.
If you look at agnostically, not just looking at this is a daily problem, basically it's a tension of power, right? There have been cases across India where there are tensions, like for example, interstate tensions. There, for example, there are tensions in Northeast, right? So solution majorly, if I said agnostically, is coming from having regular communication and giving transparency, right? When Home Minister doesn't have a conversation with the people, there's a piece of work. Similarly, if there's an interstate tussle and you have an interstate board, all the people on board, whatever their concerns are, if they get solidified for the long-term basis, then the solution comes. So for me, it's not so much for Delhi problem. It's more about, okay, there's a power, there's a how can I solve this, right?
Correct. So the state council point I'm picking up from your argument only, 263 also allows you to have an interstate council type. So can we have the similar thing replicated for center Delhi coordination?
So we do have an authority that was made by NCSA that is pending in the Supreme Court, and there we have two elected representatives.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, two nominated representatives, one chief minister. So the chief minister at this point, that again it is clashing with their ideology.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy dictating it to the
whatever the solution should be, I think the democratically elected people should be more in number than the appointed ones.
That's again a good way forward. That even either you're going this way or that way, you have an authority, whatever form you can give to that authority, you can have democratically elected people more than the bureaucrats. Because see, everybody believes that anybody who is being elected by the people deserves to be do the governance, have the final say, or deserves to do governance. So Supreme Court also said, the bench said that federalism in India is a dialogic cooperation and not hierarchy.
Should they be an extreme view of making Delhi completely unique?
I mean, this will be, so will just discuss should it be a full state or not, and of course, this also a complete UT or some aspect of it being UT. Should Delhi police be under Delhi government or center? That's right, of course. Right says that center should have it. Left would say should not have it. Right has the same logic that it's the national capital security. Right? Their diplomatic missions. If you go and protest there, then it will bring a national and international embarrassment. If given a chance, you will be arresting the prime minister, which would look very vague on how the order of hierarchy works. A chief minister ordering the arrest of the prime minister. So yeah, national security wise, right has a point that they must have a control. Left would say that there is no accountability in that, right? CM is responsible to the citizen but cannot order the police. So it undermines the democracy. So the issue is, of course, democracy versus your national security for that matter. Right? Can we have a two-tier policing model as a way forward? It's civic police for Delhi and metropolitan police for center. Metropolitan for center and civic for Delhi.
So then I think the domain should be clearly specified, like in what matters and the central police can intervene and the state police.
I mean, you have to give some tenure security also in that.
Yes, sir. Otherwise, then again, it will be a round of clashes.
Correct.
And to that, in terms of just the area, it should also be geographically defined. In the sense that most of the areas which are critical for an embassy, and obviously they are spread a bit, but at least parliament, let's say, the president house and the meeting house, everything is probably, let's say, in 10 20 kilometers.
I think the New Delhi.
Lutyens, you're talking about Lutyens Delhi. Lutyens should be governed by metropolitan police. Rest everything should be given to the civic police or Delhi police, which is under Delhi government. But most of you agree that there has to be a bifurcation of police, specifically in Delhi case. Okay. So anyway, you pick our ideology then. So mostly all of you are going for right here only here. Despite knowing that left has some valid points on paper, you're picking right side.
We're just going that in terms of priority picking order, right? If we have to put this national security versus democracy, right? At this point in time, national security makes sense to pick that, right? That's irrespective of Delhi. Even if there's a national security issue in a state which is not a UT, the army will take over if it goes after a particular threshold, right?
So in the bifurcation also, I think there is a problem. Like in the northeast, the Assam rifles and the army and the local police also, they are sometimes clashing because there is a like convergence operation. In the Assam Meghalaya border dispute also.
A two-tier police model will have clashes.
Yes.
But do you have a better way forward?
So that,
like, you just can't stick on to your ideology and say it should not happen. You have to be flexible to options, right? In the interview, when you say that, okay, you've picked up an ideology, you have backed that ideology by some logic. If a way forward is asked, how do you solve the problem? You just can't say that my ideology will solve the problem. You have to be open to options. Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking that one thing would be just to create a connection with the local people on the ground. An exchange could be made where, let's say, if you're one year to be at the service, so whatever the number is, for some time you serve in Delhi police as well to understand what are the Delhi concerns. Like if you just stay in the parliament room, you might get that what we're gonna call it arrogance or ego. Okay, I am above Delhi police.
Yeah.
So you don't understand the daily troubles of people who are living in Delhi. Let's say migrate to someone else. If there could be some sort of exchange between them, maybe a training or some exchange. That way, that could create both the parties that are national
Police reforms. You're talking about police reforms.
Yes.
But that is the overall issue of police reform.
Prakash Singh Badal, not Badal, sorry, Prakash Singh. Huh.
So it doesn't specifically show Delhi at large.
Correct. You can change the seat if it's a problem. Okay, interesting. Chief Minister should have a say in DGP appointment. Would you agree?
At least for the cooperative federalism mechanism to function, the Home Minister should at least consult to take the wheel on ground. That is the problem with communication.
Correct. The consultancy should happen.
Consultation should happen.
No, that I also agree. That, see, if you're taking any issue of state in your hands, at least discuss it with important persons of state. That makes a lot of sense, because you're actually touching somebody's state and their issues. You should have presence and accountability, right? So the last part would be in this, or the last sub part would be, because we have so many issues, we are a little bit rushing, but I hope you understand the essence, right? Should it be given full control, full statehood for that matter? Again, everybody is going right in Delhi's issue. What is the case? Nobody has sympathy with Aam Aadmi Party or what?
Probably people saw their
Okay.
It can make sense to some extent. Then I'm thinking in terms of the maturity of the democracy itself. It has been more than 75 years. The whole constitution was made with a different mindset. We were under a different regime. After 75 years, if we propose an idea, okay, let's give the reform or let's give the whole control to the state, emergency would still be there, right? If they are not governing well, we can still take control whenever needed. I don't think it's a bad idea of proposing it at least. It's just about if people understanding the narrative goes in the right direction in terms of responsibility and accountability going together. I don't think it's a bad idea. A lot of states, a lot of capital has this. They are completely under elected democracy.
Right. So center to right is like no. Left is please give us. Please give us. Because responsibility without authority is no responsibility according to them. They are like आपने हमें सरकार दे दी है बट हम कुछ कर ही नहीं पा रहे उसका. ठीक है. तो वे फॉरवर्ड पे ही आते हैं. इशू आपको रैशनल पता ही है, सेम ही रैशनल है. वे फॉरवर्ड ऑस्ट्रेलिया और अपना यूएस. ठीक है. Their capitals manage local autonomy plus federal security. So why can't India? And Sarkaria Commission and Panchi Commission has recommended clear division of subjects for capital territories. तो आप सब्जेक्ट बांट के कर लो वे फॉरवर्ड में, क्या प्रॉब्लम हो जा रही है?
So like currently also there is a division of subjects, I think, but now the clashes are still happening over those 3 subjects.
Yes, correct. आप एक्ट बनाते हो, वो एक्ट पलट जाता है, आप फिर बनाते हो, फिर वो कोर्ट चला जाता है. This has constantly happened in the last regime. आप यही नहीं डिसाइड कर पा रहे कौन किसके अंडर क्या है, खिचड़ी बन गई.
This is more about political acrimony, which the Sarkaria Commission also recognized. And the provisions are working fine as of with regard to federalism, but it's just about the political mechanisms.
By political mechanism, I also got a point that, see, ऐसा नहीं है कि दिल्ली में पहले डिफरेंट आइडियोलॉजीज की सरकार नहीं बनी है. बिल्कुल रही है. शीला दीक्षित एंड बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट हैव वर्कड टुगेदर. In fact, it did so much of development, metro, etc. So why only this party had a problem? ये भी scholars point this out कि अगर इतना ही flaw होता स्ट्रक्चर में तो पहले कोई भी सरकार काम ही नहीं कर पाती. लेफ्ट आम आदमी पार्टी हैज अ डिफेंस टू दैट बिकॉज दे मिले हुए थे वो. इफ नॉट दैट देन ऑफ कोर्स सी आम आदमी पार्टी वाज अ काइंड ऑफ अ पॉलिटिकल स्टार्टअप. दे डिड नॉट agree to certain core ideologies and national parties would agree. They had their own ideologies developing. They were developing their own things. So Delhi was basically not ready for someone like Arvind Kejriwal, probably at that time, the kind of stuff he was thinking to do. He might have also shown more maturity in being accommodating, sure. Right? But it was a lost cause for Delhi overall. पिछले 10 साल आप झगड़ते झगड़ते निकाल के डेवलपमेंट वगैरह रुक गई. दिस शुड नॉट हैपन. ठीक है, कमिंग बैक, तो हमेशा कोर कन्फ्लिक्ट आइडेंटिफाई करा करो इशू का. सबसे पहले क्लासिक है, कोई ओपिनियन बेस्ड क्वेश्चन आ रहा है, व्हाट इज इन कन्फ्लिक्ट, किन दो चीजों पे लड़ाई है, एंड अ वे फॉरवर्ड. तो अगर सर्विसेज कंट्रोल की बात थी तो इशू का कन्फ्लिक्ट क्या है? इज वन इज डेमोक्रेटिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी एंड नेशनल सिक्योरिटी. ये बिल्कुल सुनते ही क्लियर हो जाना चाहिए माइंड में मेरे कि इफ आई एम गेटिंग अ क्वेश्चन ऑन सर्विसेज कंट्रोल, कन्फ्लिक्ट क्या है? डेमोक्रेटिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी वर्सेस नेशनल सिक्योरिटी. कन्फ्लिक्ट समझ आ गया, आपको अपने आप राइट लेफ्ट समझ आ जाएगा. फिर आप अपने आप एक वे फॉरवर्ड खोज लोगे. ठीक है, एलजी का रोल, कन्फ्लिक्ट क्या है? कोऑर्डिनेशन वर्सेस पॉलिटिकल इंटरफेरेंस. खुद से भी बन जाएगा. दीज वर्ड्स कैन चेंज ऑब्वियसली. ये इकलौता सही आंसर नहीं है. आप समझ पा रहे हो राइट? इश्यूज को हमेशा कन्फ्लिक्ट से देखो. ठीक है, पुलिस कंट्रोल, नेशनल सिक्योरिटी वर्सेस लोकल अकाउंटेबिलिटी. अब आपका ब्रेन बड़े इश्यूज में पकड़ लेता है जल्दी कि मेरे लिए पर्सनली क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है, कि लोकल अकाउंटेबिलिटी बनी रहे कि देश सुरक्षित रहे. सबके लिए वेरी कर सकता है. तो कोई भी सही नहीं है. दैट्स द ब्यूटी. कोई भी सही नहीं है बिकॉज दोनों के पास सही वाले पॉइंट्स हैं. ठीक है, ठीक है, समझ आ गया पहला माइक्रो इशू. इस पे एक फिस्कल कंट्रोल पे भी जा सकते हैं बट आई डोंट नो वो इतना रेलेवेंट बचता है. फाइनेंशियल ऑटोनॉमी वाला भी जा सकता है कि शुड दिल्ली इज दिल्ली फाइनेंशियली ऑटोनोमस इनफ टू फंक्शन एज अ फुल स्टेट. बट वो फुल स्टेट के आर्ग्यूमेंट में ही चला जाएगा तो चिल है. बट पॉइंट इज दिल्ली हैज अ गुड तभी तो बोल रहे हैं दिल्ली हैज अ गुड रेवेन्यू बेस. एब्सोल्युटली. जीएसटी एक्साइज से बहुत पैसा भी आता है सरकार के पास. फिर लिकर भी था बिकॉज ऑफ इज द गवर्नमेंट कोलैप्स्ड. बट पैसा कुल मिला के दिल्ली सरकार के पास होता है. लेफ्ट का तो यही आर्ग्यूमेंट है कि पैसा हमारे पास है जी, हमें दे दीजिए.
Then the right has an argument that the process with which they have accounted the surplus revenue.
They are flawed.
That is also flawed.
But the left is also saying आप भी तो flawed हो. आप कौन से ईमानदारी का पैसा लगा रहे हो? So it's like politicians blaming a politician, which makes no sense. हाँ. What about the जनता who has voted for a change and not getting a change?
Also like the MCD elections and the issues of the MCD.
हाँ.
Like they are also like.
उसके लिए फ्रेश चुनाव है, उसके लिए फिर आप फ्रेश कंफ्लिक्ट में आ रहे हो. ठीक है. एंड इट्स वेरी इजी फॉर पॉलिटिशियंस टू शिफ्ट द ब्लेम कि हमारे पास वो भी होता तो हम बेटर कर लेते, हमारे पास वो भी होता तो हम बेटर कर लेते, तीनों में हमारी सरकार होती तो हम करके दिखा देते. डबल ट्रिपल इंजन्स. इट इज द विल. इट्स अ पॉलिटिशियंस प्रॉमिस व्हिच इज आई डोंट नो. या okay, let's discuss another major issue which is pollution. So under this if you can come offline like this in other states class also, I would love to teach you, but I'm sure a lot of constraints are there. Okay, one would be your stubble burning. Yeah, that's why you're from Delhi. That's why there's so much of enthusiasm. A lot of students didn't come because of some reasons, but I was expecting more. So yeah, stubble burning, which you will obviously see in 10-15 days. Classic case. Classic. Every year, like since 10 years, I've seen this case every year. Okay. Should Delhi hold Punjab and Haryana responsible for its air pollution or or is it a shared governance failure? Okay. Question is, हाँ तो वो पहले ही कह दी नहीं तो पहले ही ओपिनियन बना दी.
I think the question itself is on the wrong point.
Okay.
Because the stubble burning is not the main source, right?
No, but it's just a theme which is being talked about.
I think, yeah, it makes sense.
See, they will ask you because stubble burning will be in news in 10 days.
Yeah,
Right? See, this is the way journalists write. So they will write a lot on stubble burning. So even if you are very right that it's not the main concern. But because it is in news, you are expected to have an opinion on that. Right? And फिर उसमें factors खुलते हैं हरियाणा पंजाब. So should Delhi blame Punjab and Haryana or hold responsible, not blame of course, hold responsible, or is it a shared governance failure? So Punjab, Haryana's accountability or shared governance failure?
I think it is a shared governance failure, but the more accountability lies on the captains.
This is left, shared governance failure. This is right. Of course, you are free to pick your sides.
no, but there's a law, right? It's not that Punjab and Haryana are doing it intentionally. The main reason is because of low water capacity.
Yeah, a lot of reasons. Free power.
Yeah, basically they did not harvest the, basically did not sow the crop before the particular timeline.
And small farmers don't really have this happy seeder also. They're burning, they don't have a choice.
They were given the financial.
No, in Punjab, we discussed that they're not criminals, of course. Right?
But sir, I think there is a responsibility of the governments of the Punjab, Haryana, UP, and Rajasthan.
Right would believe
They have
that.
to provide
No, right believes that. Right is saying that Punjab and Haryana must be held accountable because 35 to 45% of winter PM 2.5 comes from these two states. Okay, this is SAFAR data, SAFAR data. Correct? So winter PM 2.5, 35 to 45% is coming from Punjab and Haryana, and hence right would say, make them accountable, please. Right? And Delhi pollution also coordinates directly with the farm fires. This is a very interesting report that NASA, ISRO have brought up through their satellite images, that Delhi pollution spikes directly correlate with the farm fire data. Okay. So, see, despite 2,500 crores subsidies, 2,500 crores being given in the subsidies under Central Crop Residue Scheme, farm fire still is continuing, and it's 49,000 incidents were reported in 2023. That's the right argument. Okay. ठीक है, and 2,500 crore, 2,500 crores in subsidies. ठीक है. CAQM has been replaced, you know this, like CAQM has come into existence, you all know this, I believe. Great. So enforcement hasn't happened, of course. It's a great idea on paper, but the enforcement hasn't happened properly. And you know, Delhi can't be penalized for a regional failure. This is what right would believe. Ideological right would believe, not necessarily BJP would believe. Okay. Yeah. 100% it is. It is. Yes, it is. Left would believe that it's a collective failure, right? Delhi's vehicular and constructions, handling of dust are equally capable. So ऐसा नहीं है आप पंजाब हरियाणा के किसानों पे ब्लेम करके निकल जाओ, ऐसा नहीं है. आप बहुत सॉफ्ट साइड पकड़ रहे हो उसका. आप बहुत वल्नरेबल लोगों को ब्लेम करके निकल जा रहे हो, आप एलीट लोगों की बात ही नहीं कर रहे हो. Yeah, of course.
They asked for not taking the punitive measures, but having that constructive approach towards the pollution problem.
So they actually asked to jail them in the starting.
So I'm saying the left.
Left. Okay, so it's very interesting data. 38% of PM 2.5 comes from NCR sources.
yearly or in winter?
This is Terry IIT Kanpur 2022 data in winter. No, it's a winter's concern. ये मुद्दा ही आपको उसी टाइम दिवाली के पास मिलेगा.
This should be a yearly.
That's what.
No, as in when we are giving the interview, we will talk about this as a concern, right?
True.
Not as a winter versus specifically.
Yeah, you are preparing for Delhi, of course.
Yeah.
Pollution is the concern. But see, the highlight of this issue comes in Diwali.
No, that's basically visible concerns versus.
Because that's visible, smog and everything combines. You are not able to breathe properly. Your eyes are burning, and because it starts affecting you personally, then oh my god, what's happening? Otherwise, you don't care. When the weather is nice, when it's raining, you don't care about pollution.
But still, then, despite having good monsoons, Delhi remains under top 10 cities.
100%. So that's what left is saying. You're not talking about these construction guys. You're not talking about these vehicular guys because they're अमीर लोग. तो आप उनको कुछ कहते नहीं हो. आप बेचारे गरीब किसानों के पीछे पड़ गए हो. ठीक है? Left clearly believes that Punjab's farmer burn residue because of structural problems. ठीक है? आप एक फ्री पावर दे रखा है उनको. ठीक है? वाटर इंटेंसिव है, पैडी उगाते हैं तो जलाएंगे ही. क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफिकेशन भी नहीं है जो आप पल्सेस मेज उगा रहे हैं. ठीक है, तो आप ही ने उनको बिगाड़ रखा है सब दे दे के. ठीक है, तो दोनों के पास कुछ कुछ पॉइंट्स तो हैं. वे फॉरवर्ड क्या बन सकता है?
Integrated irrespective management.
So only for stubble burning or for overall?
Stubble burning. Let's talk about other aspects इसके बाद. Stubble burning के लिए
The incentive, if I'm not wrong, is not sufficient enough.
Absolutely yes. And CAQM में भी आप इंसेंटिव डाल सकते हो फॉर एमिशन टारगेट्स बिकॉज आपने बॉडी बना दी है तो लेट देम इंसेंटिवाइज हु आर डूइंग अ गुड जॉब.
The nudge has to follow like the way you nudge them to grow crops during Green Revolution. Now the same reverse psychology has to be worked. That is the argument of Ashok Gulati.
Yes.
So that has to be worked, I think, through the KVKs, Krishi Vigyan Kendra, and the grassroots level, where they can interact with.
Could be one of many good mediums. Yes, wonderful.
And sir, I think one scheme is also there where the biodecomposers they are being given free to the farmers.
Delhi government started distributing it, and they said that we are willing to collaborate with Delhi Punjab government also. Pusa came up with this work.
Yes, Pusa came up with that, and Happy Cedar cooperatives can also be leased. Yeah, sure.
I don't think it's on small farm it's still
Creates an
applicable at that scale. The bigger problem lies in technology versus being applicability. Those inventions have been there, but they are for big farmers.
Yeah, small farmers are not able to purchase it.
We have not even purchased it. It's not applicable on the small farmers.
Basically, the small farmlands.
हाँ, farmlands पे भी it's logistically issues हैं. Correct.
Consolidation.
Okay, why can't we use stubble for bio CNG then?
So basically, how is the next crop? So ultimately, it has to be cut by a machine or hand, right? And then you have to get it into whatever the alternative you have.
So basically, pallets.
Niti Aayog also suggested this in 23 that 70% of your stubble can be reused.
They said there should be fast local level collection.
But then how do you collect it fast? Correct. That's the problem. Time 10 दिन का ही है ना उनके पास.
Windows particularly
10 to 15 days उनको जलाना ही है. हाँ.
One option could be if you can prepone this law, right? Somehow whenever the harvesting, because they have this 1 month, they're not allowed to sow the seeds of rice or whatever crop. If you can prepone it to let's say 15 days earlier, then they have instead of 10 days, they have 25 days. So that basically is linked to water conservation. If that can be improved in Punjab in the next couple of years, somehow, then that basically solves the problem. They are again, if they have the sources, why would they burn it? Right?
Valid point.
In this also, sir, I think that the local panchayat bhavans could be used to store the stubble.
हाँ.
Like at the local level.
ताकि collection जल्दी हो जाए.
Yes. So they could just collect it and use the transport medium.
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
Sehkar Samriddhi theme. They are building world's largest greenery in which they are transforming all the PACS shops into multi.
As interview students, you have to tell them कि इनमें से quickly work क्या करेगा. ये सब तो मेंस वाला है. कि ठीक है बहुत कुछ है. बट वो कहेंगे अच्छा मुझे 10 दिन में सॉल्व करना है. व्हाट इज द बेस्ट थिंग? हाँ. बट उसमें वो जो कलेक्शन वाला पॉइंट है बहुत अच्छा है.
वो तो लॉन्ग टर्म
So
हाँ,
I
but
think वो local पंचायत hall को use करके तुरंत वहाँ पे पहुँचा दें, and then that could be used as a center to again give them to the bio CNG plants.
yes, students have solved this problem.
So, but then you do not have the pellet plants, biodecomposer plants in the vicinity of Punjab. You have a very good network being established in Maharashtra and other places. Correct?
What do you think is the reason of that? आइडिया ही नहीं आया, या फाइनेंस है, या बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस है जो भी इम्प्लीमेंट हो सकता है?
Sir, I think thermal power plants वगैरह तो like local level पे तो होंगे ही
हाँ,
districts में,
हैं.
but I think उसके अंदर जो specific boilers वगैरह चाहिए होते हैं like CNG ये pellets को use करने के लिए, I think they are not being have been constructed.
तो हो गया वे फॉरवर्ड. तो इनमें से एक सबसे अच्छा क्या था? नहीं, बायो. ठीक है, ये बोल सकते हो, ज़्यादा बेटर है. बाकी सब अच्छा है, नॉट बैड, बट ये है कि आपको थोड़ा मेंस है, वो थोड़ा नहीं काफ़ी मेंस है, इमीडिएटली नहीं लग रहा है ना. और नीति आयोग ने ही रिकमेंड किया था. इट्स वेरी गुड व्हेन यू से अ वे फॉरवर्ड आल्सो, एंड जिसमें आप नीति आयोग, सुप्रीम कोर्ट डाल दो वे फॉरवर्ड में, ओपिनियन में नहीं, कि उन्होंने भी कहा है कर देना चाहिए, इसमें इशू आ रहा है कलेक्शन का, जैसे आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया, वो इशू लेके कर देना चाहिए. दैट विल बी अ परफेक्ट इंटरव्यू वे फॉरवर्ड, कि आपने इंस्टीट्यूशन का भी जिक्र कर दिया, आपने उसमें भी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का भी प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफाई करके बता दिया, यहाँ ये प्रॉब्लम है ना. ठीक है. Should Delhi focus more on restricting vehicles or upgrading fuel and transport infrastructure? चलो फार्म का हो गया, अब व्हीकल. Should we restrict vehicle? In Delhi possible है. Restrict vehicle or upgrade the fuel and transport infrastructure.
We have to be only one side. Can we not say like?
No, madam, you're not sitting in mains.
I think you're upgrading the process is more important because today's economy and daily needs is.
No, right. Also things like, what do you think, Isha? Let it be the major context. Let it not be the winter season.
This is 365 days.
This is 365 days problem. Stubble burning is only winter problem. Okay. Upgraded fuel and transport infrastructure.
District also creates law and order problems and then backlashes from various. So there is no collaboration also in restricting vehicles.
Where is left going, guys?
Restriction of vehicles.
They also demonstrated this through their odd even policy. Right? Left thinks that it's a behavioral problem. Okay? Right is like, no, your focus should be on infrastructure and not arbitrary bans.
Bangalore has to force condition So it's not that it's not feasible. There are a couple of other cities like Shanghai did, Beijing also did it, London also did at some point in time. So I think it's all about getting the right sort of data and
there has been an immediate backlash that policy in Karnataka.
Immediate backlash, yes.
So, the global practice is something that in the core part of the city they try to create a no vehicular zone whereby they restrict, and in the vicinity of it they try to create a mobility corridor so that people from the adjacent towns, from tier 2 towns, can easily travel to the urban metropolis.
So I think this policy in a limited format is also being followed in some areas like the Marine Drive of Mumbai and in some areas of Delhi too, where the auto rickshaws are not allowed. Like in the Agra zone also, the autos are not allowed in the Taj Mahal. But that creates, I think, an elite mentality.
Everybody who are talking a little bit also about banning, you are majorly following for right, but in a way forward, you're also giving a way forward where you can actually incorporate left ideas. Right? So this is exactly how you have to look at it. You really can't be against both sides at times. So even if you like a good part about it, nudge it. If you're not nudging it, say it in a way forward. Right? So odd even they did it left. So because they think it's a behavioral issue and the numbers would change, infrastructure alone won't be able to, because left village population is growing eventually. Till when you will ban and where will you end? Right? You can't control the population. EVs and your fuels and electric buses, biofuels, eventually you'll have to come to it.
And then creating the regional rapid transport mobility, like the RRTs.
But I like your suggestion as a way forward, zero emission zone. Create a zero emission zone, 100%.
Core part of the city. So it was
Anywhere, at least start a zero emission zone.
it was created in Connaught Place. They tried doing that, but it faced the backlash. So they were not able to extend it. But sometimes political will has to be decided.
No, it has to be mandatory be given.
So the Rahagiri concept that we have in Delhi, a certain beacons on which Connaught Place vehicles are not allowed. So people go with the bicycle.
With the bicycle, yeah.
They can openly walk.
Right. Correct.
So in this way forward, can we give the TUD, the transport-oriented development policy of that will be like too non-implementable?
I think non-implementable, right?
That would be main answer.
Yeah, that would be main answer. It's a very long run answer. In interview, you also have to focus what can be quickly fixing the solution. Short run, but handy. Long run is in the long run, we all are dead.
So even if we upgrade the infrastructure, in that also the restriction of vehicle is kind of implicit, because if the infrastructure is good enough, people will, they will not use their cars as much.
Yes.
So, but then it's a nudging.
It's a nudging. It's the game of nudging.
Yeah, it's a nice process. You are implicitly discouraging.
Also, can you integrate EV charging in RWAs? Like EV charging points are not there. That's why EV became a failure.
So EVs are not that much successful.
You don't have a charging slot.
Then we can also talk about the business and startup ecosystem. If I'm not wrong, I'm not sure about the India space at this point, but a lot of foreign companies, but they have the battery as service. You don't have to charge the battery. Wherever you are, you want a battery, we just plug and play.
Interoperability between, but they've started coming with these kind of.
Yeah, they've started coming up. What about AI traffic lights? AI traffic lights, Bangalore has it. Bangalore has it.
That's very keen on the civic sense.
So you're saying Delhi has a bad civic sense? They don't care about traffic.
I have to generally talk as compared to the cities of Chandigarh and Indore, which are tier 2 tier 3 cities, let's say Himachal, Solan and other cities. I've seen people driving there much better, and it's very predictable. Predictability is the biggest factor. If you're driving on roads, even if you create nice districts crossing without anything, I don't think that thing makes sense.
And challans are also not helping, no? They're ready to pay challans, but they won't improve. No, you're very right. You're absolutely right.
The problem there is the example of Delhi Metro. We have created such a world-class experience for them at such an affordable rate with the integration of technology.
But then left doesn't believe it is at affordable rate. Yeah, there is another debate in Delhi. Yeah, see, that's where you're looking from elitist viewpoint.
So, but if you see the stats also per capita GDP now, metro travel.
Yeah, but a lot of. And still, if you see the local trains, it's crowded.
But even that's the argument that people are not having that much.
Even metros are expensive for the left.
We have talked about the buses, the rails. Those are the ones which could be a bit affordable. I don't think metro is at that rates.
So a mandate zero emission free zone could be a way forward. EV chargings, right? See, BS6 plus EV, there's a data by Terry in 2022 that BS6 plus EV adoption could cut vehicular emissions by 2.5 by 25%. So if you adopt both BS6 and EV, it will cut vehicular PM 2.5 by 25% in 2030. Terry. So eventually, yes, right is winning यहाँ पे काफी ज़्यादा. But doesn't mean right के argument strong है तो left नहीं लोगे. ये वाले trap में मत फंसना please.
So I think also like left would not deny upgrading the fuel and transportation infrastructure.
It won't. But it would of course tell about, it will focus on the accessibility कि आप इतना expensive बना दो कि लोग खरीद ही ना पाए.
Then the argument is that government should be bringing that, but when the finances and other comes into place, PPP has to come.
Yeah.
Like, to now money with it. PPP. So
Better.
So you exactly know the politics that happen in this country, right?
One option could be the bus that we have, right? That could be just free completely for specific time, let's say office time. Because what I'm saying that is in Indore, they had a specific lane where only just for bus, but that was basically blocked by concrete and other things. It might not be feasible in Delhi because the space was too less. But it's creating a policy where, for let's say, for 1 or 2 hours, there is office time, right? The bus space is completely free. If you travel by a bus, you can actually reach your destination in less than a car, let's say, 30 minutes. So that creates a very big incentive for people to take bus.
So, but the interesting catch here is that Sheila Dixit tried to implement it by seeing that idea from Columbia. They tried to create that bus intervals on the South Delhi roads, but it rapidly failed, and now later on.
Why did it fail?
So, it was failed because it couldn't, because the vehicular traffic was such peak hours. The people were following that, but the vehicular traffic got congested in the main roads.
There's an absolute you will leave the car and get back to us. If there's enough frequency in last minute, probably because back then.
And also some kind of comfort, probably. Anybody who's driving a car would want a comfort in a bus.
But there were other buses which are going on, right? I used to travel.
Uber shuttle, right?
Yeah.
So you are in favor of bringing in like these startups or these companies coming in and solving the problem at affordable rates?
My point is, if you're nudging, right, nudging cannot happen as 1% difference. It has to happen, let's say, at hypothetical about 20 or 30% difference. If I'm traveling by car and I'm reaching it in 1.5 hours, versus if I'm traveling by bus and I can reach by 45 minutes, then we think about it. If it's a 1 hour 30 minutes versus 1 hour 25 minutes, I don't even think about it.
What about carpooling, guys? Why is it not as successful as an idea?
Safety.
Okay.
So comfort mentality.
There is a mindset issue.
What made odd even fail? I mean, the intentions were good.
It's not completely fair, right? There was some research that it did work.
Yeah, for some time it did work.
I think it became too restrictive after.
The claim could have been very high, similar to 5-year plan, but I think it did.
So it wasn't a bad idea, right?
It wasn't a bad.
So but people also started doing it that they those who wanted to buy a second car, they used to buy like other Penta model to the other.
So we find creative ways in India, right?
It increased solutions.
So odd even में ही अगर हम better implementation कर दें, so it's a wonderful plan, no?
Because in odd even it was seen that you created so much relaxations associated with it that the whole purpose of odd
There were so many loopholes also.
loopholes, the thing which
The influentials one were able to manage them and it wasn't applying
and
to
odd
them.
even was for 12 hours.
Yeah. But odd even kind of things can be done if the situation is very bad.
And what?
Stage 6.
Grab that taxi service.
Graded rapid.
Okay, yes.
Stage.
Okay, great points. Then what can we do? Dust pollution, etc. I think you can manage. It's not as big as a theme, right? Let's come to the Yamuna thing. Simple. Why has Yamuna action failed? Action plan failed. Why has Yamuna action plan failed after 30 years and 6,000 plus crores spent? Yamuna is very important with respect to Delhi's politics. This year it had a great role, like whenever the government changed. a great role. Although it didn't sound that significant, but people did make this as a good issue.
There's more of like emotional connect.
Yeah, there's an emotional connect. I think left also promised that they will do it. Like केजरीवाल ने बहुत कि मैं नहाऊंगा यहाँ आके, और अगर वो इतना ज्यादा पर्सनलाइज नहीं करते और वो अपने फेलियर्स एक्सेप्ट करके कहते कि हम प्रैक्टिकली इस टाइम तक करवाएंगे, तो शायद मे भी जनता पिनलाइज नहीं करती.
This issue was even discussed in other states also during the Delhi elections.
No, but Kejriwal government were able to make good narratives, even in other states. So they were very good at narrative building. Issues को politically highlight कर देते थे. Prashant Kishore also, I mean, they have won without him also. Little bit overrated with respect to electoral strategies. Because see, politicians are capable of winning elections on their own. I mean, they really don't need corporates. You see, you will see.
When you work as a political consultant somewhere,
No, it's a good startup though. It's a great idea to earn money. I would definitely 100%, because they have infinite amount of money to offer, and there's definitely a vacuum.
Technologically oriented. They hire people from the IITs and IIMs. So they are very
But politicians always will have a knack of winning elections, whether you give them a consultancy or not.
You say it's about people versus technology. Reading people's
You
minds.
should have a map of pulse of the people. At the same time, data won't harm you.
Data won't harm you. So of course, politicians are willingly accepting them, but they can win without him or any other institution. Mamata Banerjee was already popular in Bengal. She didn't need him to win. She would have won eventually. And he has always picked the winning side. He has never supported an underdog. He tried once in 2017, UP ke ladke, he failed. You remember 2017 elections, Uttar Pradesh? Congress SP he united, and he gave this tagline UP ke ladke. Failed badly. So it's not, he has not been a success everywhere. If he makes an underdog win an election, for instance, BJP in Punjab, BJP in Bengal, Congress in Delhi again, you can actually call him a great strategist. If you're just picking somebody who's a good chance of winning by adding data and resources,
greater than 50 seats in Bihar, then
of
he will
course,
be a great.
of course, he is not winning 50 seats in Bihar. He'll sure dent some votes, maybe few seats, but he is not playing a big role. Coming back, so why is Yamuna Action Plan failed?
Like too many non-point sources which could not be industries and the local level tanneries, leather tanneries. These are the non-point sources. It's a difficult to identify.
Yeah. Fragmentations of institutions also, right, is firm in believing this, that there are multiple agencies. You have Delhi Jail Board, you have Development Authority DDA, you have NDMC, you have CPWD. So without a single accountability, right, says that there are so many institutions involved. How will you do it? Okay.
Moreover, improper sewage management of Delhi, because there are two drains, Nachabgarh and one more, that their waste and sludge gets directly released into the
Yeah. Correct. So left also says that drain level governance is not happening. It focuses on big projects. That's why it has failed. Right. Left also says that neglect of citizen ownership has been there. There has been decentralized treatment.
I think like in this Yamuna issue, I think both the right and left would not agree on the same set of points, or they would differ.
No, they would differ with respect to, right would say that there has to be a better institutional combination. Right? Left would obviously say that you have focused more on the big projects, you have not decentralized it properly, or the solutions priority will be differed, yes. But ऐसा नहीं है कि दोनों चाहेंगे नहीं कि यमुना क्लीन ना हो. मतलब ये आप डिफरेंस समझ लीजिए आइडियोलॉजी को लेके, कि ऐसा नहीं है दे डोंट वांट द यमुना क्लीनिंग टू हैपन. कोई भी देश के खिलाफ नहीं ऑपरेट कर रहा है. ठीक है, तो आइडियोलॉजी से इतना इंप्रेस नहीं होना है कि बिल्कुल एंटी नेशनल बना दो एक आइडियोलॉजी को और कह दो कि ये तो एंटी नेशनल है. ऐसा नहीं. ठीक है, दे माइट हैव सम गुड पॉइंट्स, यू माइट हैव सम गुड पॉइंट, एंड दैट्स हाउ यू हैव टू वर्क. क्या करें अब हम यमुना सॉल्व करने के लिए, यमुना ठीक करने के लिए, मतलब सॉल्व.
Like there are Ganga action plan also, Namami Gange, and that is also not working. So
I mean, आप वे फॉरवर्ड दे सकते हो, मैंडेट कर दो, अनट्रीटेड डिस्चार्ज ना जाए.
I think
इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में बहुत झोल है.
this local people themselves like are not responsible, or I think there is no solution.
Behavioral change is very very important.
In terms of solution variety, I don't have a lot of data and background on this, to be honest. But one thing I realized is these projects have a long lifespan in terms of solution rate. If you start talking about projects in 2-3 years,
You
that
can't.
backfires on you.
Wonderful, yes.
That's number one. Number two, I would probably institutionalize this problem. I mean, it should be a topic which is hot every year for, let's say, 5-10 years, a decade or so. Somehow, maybe create some institution that's centralized or some other policy which makes sense. For example, China had this pollution. They created a decadal plan or 2-decade plan. So that just keeps the goal in your head and you keep making effort. And being realistic enough, I think even in terms of data makes a lot of sense. For example, in Namami, we were talking about, it's not a failure completely.
Yeah.
Because they have an improvement, but those are not visible enough because it will take a lot of time.
Yeah, correct. It's a long-term thing. It cannot be solved in 5 years, right?
We saw that in Kumbh. If Namami Gange was a failure, then how could we have such better quality in Namami Gange?
Yeah, correct.
But it was not a failure, but I think like in the
No, but Ganga was still polluted, but far better than the standards.
Far better than the quality that we have seen.
Absolutely, absolutely.
In originality was launched in 1980s.
Huh.
So from 1980s,
The focus has been on that.
Right from Ganga. But
So where does this long run end? That is also 40 years is a good time. So this is what left is saying. Now you're not focusing on you're focusing on the big projects and you're not focusing on these smaller issues like the rivers.
River cleaning has also been कि वहाँ से river से कचरा निकालो rather than like source पे जैसे waste segregation should be done.
ये भी सही है.
a good model can also be for the same river cleaning in the France.
वहाँ अप्लाई कैसे हो जाता है यूरोप में और इंडिया में क्यों नहीं होता?
Population load, behavioral change.
मतलब क्या ऐसा डिफरेंस है कि सब कुछ आपको यूरोप में वही चीज दिखेगी, इंडिया में नहीं दिखेगी?
I see similar on the lines of Indore, right? They make so clean. So it's I have lived there 2 years. I have not traveled a lot.
What are the specifications of Indore model, Rohit?
Couple of things that I could possibly see visibly when I was traveling. Right now, one is the bureaucracy is very right? And I brought a thing institute making an institute out of it in the sense if you just provide an infra, right? If you are not asking people to clean it, it won't happen. If you're asking people to clean it and you provide infra, but there is no political support to it, it will still not happen. The political support, but the bureaucracy is still corrupted, it still won't happen. My point is, reforms has to happen in every department. Then only
better coordination, right? Is also talking about that, yeah. So, data लिख लो, 76% of Delhi drains are untreated, and only 22 of 35 STP are functional. 22 out of 35 STPs are functional. Or sewage treatment plants. 76% of Delhi drains are still untreated, and 22 out of 35 STPs are functional in Delhi. Imagine. It's CPCB. CPCB's data 2023. Okay. So concern तो है ना. ठीक है. वे फॉरवर्ड में यार यस आई थिंक रिवर बेसिन अथॉरिटी कर सकते हैं, बट ये सब वही बातें हैं ऐसी कि मेंस वाली हैं सारी. CAQM किया हमने पोल्यूशन के लिए, यमुना के लिए कर सकते हैं ऐसी डेडिकेटेड अथॉरिटी. मैंडेट जीरो डिस्चार्ज कर सकते हैं, बट यू नो मोर देन दैट. Absolutely, that whatever we have discussed right now, it's more than that. It's a long-term thing, and you need reforms everywhere. ऐसा नहीं है कि only one aspect is responsible for this, and you really can't give a date to this.
So within 5 years.
कि 5 years में हो जाएगा.
Not in 5 years, quarterly, monthly.
But we should gradually targets.
Basically said a lot of sensors, air sensitivity will capture the pollution. I think you will see if you know you probably graph, but they are mostly active during winters normally. Why not the whole year, right? You already have the infrastructure. Why do we get a data of the whole year? It will help us. It will from
So for Yamuna, DPCC is already doing that. The Yamuna Action Plan. We submit a monthly report.
Yeah, I'm saying make it popularized. We are not.
Yeah, only UPSC aspirants are
The
probably.
migrants who have the festivals are they're not going to pay to pay.
So I like your point that this is a recurring issue and should be in news every year.
Yeah.
It can't be like your election issue once in a 5 year and you're done for it.
So I think now it will be. It has started now. I think Yamuna will be an issue.
I think people are keenly looking at it, 100%.
Keenly looking at it because major cities in the country are having their own river development.
And wherever the cleaning is happening, even I stop and see, okay, it's happening. You know, it is taking our curiosity.
Now Chhat Puja will be coming.
Chhat Puja will be coming again, the same thing will happen. But Chief Minister herself said that fires, cracking fires, कर लो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है fire.
But it can't be extreme, right?
Crack fires.
She has made some good arrangement that we won't allow the waste to be, but they have also made it collected for the festival.
Okay, last segment in this. Should courts continue leading Delhi's environmental policy? Everybody hates court, huh? For what reasons, I don't know. But anybody who is going in bureaucracy is hating judiciary. There is some reason. Judicial classic. Right. So, center to right with respect to Delhi environmental policy, should court continue in this or not? I mean, right will not go against this. They'll say yes, activism is required. Right? Judicial activism is required because the executive vacuum is being filled. Right? Judiciary is ensuring the transition. CAQM for that matter. Right? CNG. Judiciary, he basically is driving everything with respect to environment in Delhi. Even Diwali firecrackers. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ही बोलती है ना. दिल्ली में जितना भी काम हो रहा है एनवायरनमेंट पे कोर्ट ही कर रही है. हमें ऐसा लग रहा है कोर्ट का ही काम है.
The finance reforms were made in 1991, right? So the PM were not able to drive a lot of conversation because then he would have got a lot of backlash. So then he basically asked Manmohan Singh and team to drive it and then saying इन्होंने कर दिया. I think the similar thing is happening because if otherwise politicians do it, they lose votes.
Yeah.
So probably it's being driven by Supreme Court and the normal people like he court का मान देते.
Left would say कि long term चाहिए आपको. Environmentalism needs institutional and not judicial changes. Right? Courts can guide but not govern. But right is saying कि ठीक है, if they are doing a good job, काम होने से मतलब है आपको, चाहे कोई भी करे. Mostly right would say कि vacuum अगर कोई भी fill कर रहा है structural तो ठीक है, हम सम्मान करते हैं. But obviously no politician would want or nobody from executive would want that judiciary should interfere in their matters. ठीक है. Way forward इसका क्या हो सकता है कोर्ट वाले में, तो yes और no ही बोलोगे, क्या way forward दोगे इसमें? कुछ anecdotes दे सकते हो, जैसे आपने guidelines, हाँ guidelines दे सकते हो बिल्कुल. Yes, they could define the contours. Yes.
Judicial activism is
Invited but not mandatory.
Public discourse should be there. I mean, for example, previously there was jury service, right? Something of that sort, similar like that, at least before delivering the judgment, at least get the pulse of the people.
I mean, jurisdiction to 100% they can define.
So like PILs are also necessary for driving change.
Yeah, very necessary. Yes. So NGT, CAQM, everything has come from that only. So it's important. Grab. CNG. Okay. Understood. Let's discuss another important issue, that's urbanization. Bata dena whenever we have to end, okay? Like I would want to continue for this for an hour, but aap bata dena. Especially the girls if you want to go early. Huh? Women's safety in Delhi, unfortunately, is not good. Unauthorized colonies and housing में क्या कर सकते हैं? बताओ. Is regulating or regularizing unauthorized colonies an act of social justice or administrative failure? लेफ्ट जहां जहां सोचेगा वहां क्या सोचेगा? नहीं, सोशल जस्टिस. एडमिन फेलियर ज्यादातर राइट विल थिंक. राइट के लिए क्लासिक है, व्यवस्थाएं ठीक नहीं है, हम ठीक कर देंगे, सबको एकजुट करके ठीक कर देंगे. लेफ्ट हमेशा कहेगा कि नहीं, जिनको नहीं मिला, जिनके हिस्से में जो नहीं आया, उनको आना चाहिए. राहुल गांधी का भी यही कंसर्न है ना, कि जितना हिस्सेदारी उतनी भागीदारी. लेफ्ट विल ऑलवेज गो फॉर दिस सामाजिक न्याय. वो कोई भी फॉर्म ऑफ लेफ्ट हो सकता है. लालूज लेफ्ट, अखिलेश लेफ्ट, मुलायम सिंह यादव का लेफ्ट, कर्नाटका में अलग लेफ्ट, कांग्रेस का लेफ्ट, वो ठीक है, ओरिजिनल लेफ्ट. बट लेफ्ट लेफ्ट है, राइट राइट है. ठीक है. तो हाँ, रेगुलाइजिंग और रेगुलेटिंग, वट एवर. रेगुलराइजिंग इज अ बेटर वर्ड, आई गेस. ओके, अर्चिता.
But the process starts from there. It does not end there.
Yeah, okay.
Regularizing does not mean that it will just stay there forever. Then you have to think of the
Regularizing unauthorized colony.
It means that effectively we are giving them an official status on land that they can live there for generations.
टेम्पररी सोल्यूशन आप कह रहे हैं?
Because the state was not able to provide them shelter. They contributed to the economy, but there was no space for them. So they settled there, and then 40 years later, suddenly someone comes and then says that you cannot live there, and 2 generations have been living there. So there is a issue of social justice too in that.
So the problem of urban housing is associated with it because it was the mandate of Delhi Development Authority to create townships, flat system, residential flat system. But when they failed, because they had land access to these unauthorized colonies.
If right has to go about, if they explicitly don't say that it's an administrative failure, they'll say it's a pragmatic social justice, like you said, temporary, कुछ time के लिए कर दो. But they'll never say कि completely कर दो. ठीक है?
Yeah, because it takes away someone's right, the government's right, the rule is the government's land, right? Nobody can just come and live there. It just invites the people to come and live. So that creates a problem.
So then I think the surveillance should be better. Like they should not be given permission to live 50 years. They have been living for 60, 70 years in some cases for their.
So at times you'll have to give them an employment opportunity also.
Yes.
Otherwise, how will they not go? है ना? तो साइड बाय साइड इफ यू आर गिविंग देम सोशल जस्टिस, तो उसके साथ उनको इकोनॉमिक जस्टिस भी दो. राइट. सो राइट वुड से यहाँ पे
I think the issue of that social justice also comes in.
no.
Because that is being done. The reason is being given that these are unauthorized colonies, and the unauthorized houses.
So that is vindicated justice.
Yeah.
I think there is a convergence because the reason given is the same that these
नहीं, they are like कि नहीं, उसमें भी there's a process. They're giving you notice first कि आप इतने दिनों में खाली कर दो. जब आप नहीं मानोगे तो फिर हम ये चला सकते हैं.
ये भी तो शायद issue है कि notices were not being given in some places and the houses were being.
Majorly it is related with law and order. यूपी में. ठीक है.
Region and for a couple of cases for which it was not.
I think now it is a ban issue because in the Rajasthan MP.
Yeah, because see, politically it is politically successful, no? Right.
Anywhere a case happens like in Udaipur also when an issue occurred, so the house was raised immediately and the reason given was that it was an unauthorized settlement and the permission was not taken.
But if you look at the root cause, you will find some sort of.
The root cause is definitely that, but the reason given is that.
But in UP, they are given alternate ways to like move. It's not like they are moving.
Yeah, I mean that's the basic you have to do if you're taking up their land.
Yes.
Under AIA, you'll have to accommodate them somewhere, right? So social justice or administrative failure, of course. What data should you have? Any I mean, 1700 unauthorized colonies. They constitute 45 to 50% of Delhi's population. So we are in 50, 45 to 50. So we are amongst the 50% of Delhi's population, imagine, who are living in a regulated Pakka house. 1700 unauthorized colonies are there.
It's 1 crore population.
Absolutely, almost 1 crore population in Delhi is living in unauthorized colonies. This is MOHUA, Housing Affairs.
Recently, in Anand Vihar and somewhere also in August, the houses were like raised down because of this issue only.
But see, electoral legitimacy is given to them. That's the problem.
Which is the broader thing of migration process. Because if we are closing this down, then we need to think of broadly that Delhi is a way for people to have that capacity of buying house, right? And I link it to land laws as well, because land laws in Delhi are very strict. So broadly, we have to decide, okay, do we want a city where only high paying capacity, it's similar to Chandigarh, right? Let's say, and we don't want migrant. Then we have to think of the alternative. Reshufflers or people who are doing the manual work. What do we do for that? Because otherwise, if they're coming, they don't have that level of ability to buy more. So I would bring it to the broader thing rather than just keeping it here, just yes or no.
But then you have also given them electoral legitimacy, which means they can vote, right? They pay taxes.
It's basically about housing crisis at large. Like how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
And encroachment on government land when it happens, because it is not just government land; it is also agricultural land as well around Delhi.
So the good way forward could be regularize plus redevelop.
Redevelop. This is what the government.
Yeah.
It's affordable housing.
Affordable housing, yes.
The people are given allotted house, but they sort of rent out
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. So regularize plus redevelop. You can use GIS based things, tilting things, whatever, with infrastructure plans. Use GIS, use technology. Everybody who's an engineer must bring in technological aspects to it. It's very, very helpful. Okay. Delhi Master Plan ने कुछ कहा है 2041 vertical housing. It has asked you to focus on vertical housing and transit oriented development. You maximize space in the dense areas. I hope you understand vertical housing. Huh? You have a Gujarat model of PPP, triple P, slum rehab model. Incentivize करके basically. Incentivize public-private slum redevelopment. Dharavi. But not Dharavi exactly, but yeah, of course, controversy.
Bringing private, specifically social justice, is such a
sensitive issue.
It's also the person doing that was a like national level controversial issue. Opposition made.
I think regularized plus redeveloping model is something we all can agree to. A good way forward. And everybody usually believes in this only. You can't give them for lifetime. Even social justice has a time. So it applies to every left's argument. It applies to every right's argument. Okay. Why is Delhi flooded every monsoon? Despite, again, Yamuna Action Plan.
Encroachment of wetlands.
Yep. Right will say that only, yes, encroachment, because of encroachment and outdated drainage infrastructure. Huh? Yes. Failure by DDA and maintenance failure by MCD and DDA. Real estate projects, Commonwealth Village, Akshardham, near the floodplains.
Akshardham temple. built entirely on build.
Yeah, absolutely. आप टेम्पल बना दोगे कुछ बोलेगा नहीं. सिंपल है ना. आपको कुछ भी ऐसा करना है, आप टेम्पल बना दो. कोई बोल ही नहीं सकता. कोई बोलेगा तो पिटेगा.
बुलडोजर
कुछ अरे अपने पेरेंट्स से पिटोगे. तो आइडियोलॉजिकली लोग इतने सेंसिटिव है ना. रिलीजन यहाँ पे आ जाए, वहाँ कुछ भी कर दो आप. कुछ भी कर दो रिलीजन पे आप. तो अक्षरधाम कॉमनवेल्थ में आपने फ्लड प्लेन्स में आपने नेचुरल फ्लो डिस्टर्ब कर दिए. वारन जहाँ बैठे हम सब, अभी ये डेथ्स जो हुई थी पिछले साल, वो आपने जो जहाँ पे सब बढ़िया बढ़िया अपने ईटरीज हैं, डोमिनोज एक्सेट्रा, वो सब उसी पे तो बना रखा है ड्रेनेज पाइप पे. आपने वो जमीन दे दी है, सब बढ़िया चलाओ अपना डोमिनोज और जो भी यहाँ पे है सब 0 डिग्रीज एक्सेट्रा. मेजर पाइप वहीं से जाती थी इस पूरे रोड की. तो पानी तो बहेगा ना कहीं से, अगर आप उसका रास्ता रोक दोगे तो बह गया कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में.
And structurally, one of the things that density doesn't accept, because I was a part of it. So the pipe bursted, actually, the drainage pipe bursted, and it was a rapid flow of drain
या
that just absorbed people everywhere.
क्योंकि पाइप ही रियल पाइप नहीं है. जो एक्चुअल पाइप होना चाहिए उसके बाद आपने बिल्डिंग बना दी है. तो एक्चुअल ड्रेनेज आपने रोक दिया है. ठीक है. तो राइट वुड ऑफ कोर्स टॉक अबाउट द एनक्रोचमेंट एस्पेक्ट. लेफ्ट वुड से अर्बन डिजाइन इज फ्लॉड. अर्बन डिजाइन इज फ्लॉड, यस. इसी चीज पे जो हम बात कर रहे हैं अभी. ठीक है. अनरेगुलेटेड कंस्ट्रक्शन हैज हैपेंड. सो सिटी का जो नेचुरल बफर है वही आपने चोक कर दिया है अकॉर्डिंग टू लेफ्ट. ठीक है. तो दिल्ली में फ्लड्स का रीजन अगर आइडियोलॉजीज देंगी तो ये रीजन देंगी. ठीक है. 15 of 22 major drains are encroached. The 22 major drains हैं दिल्ली की, उसमें से 15 have been encroached according to CPCB 23. ठीक है. Delhi has lost 70% of its ponds and wetlands since 1970. ये CSC का डेटा है. आपको ultimately you'll have to restore the lakes. There is nothing as a good way forward. You'll have to go to blue-green manufacturing, infrastructure mission. ठीक है. You have to restore your 100 lakes around, more than that also, but at least 100 lakes you have to restore. Right? You have to integrate stormwater or sewage plan. Yes. And sewage plan. Yes. Right? Another authority banana idea है.
Every problem we are creating.
See, this is exactly differentiates in mains answer versus interview answer. You just can't create an authority and say कि हो जाएगा इससे solve. Mains interview में. Mains में कुछ नहीं आ रहा तो authority बना दो. ठीक है. यमुना रिवर फ्रंट अथॉरिटी बना देते हैं. चलो, कैसे बना दोगे?
Then what would the elected government do if you have specific executive agencies for every government?
Yes. प्री मॉनसून रेन का ऑडिट भी नहीं होता. फाइनेंस गए होता है. रेन ड्रेन, सॉरी, नॉट रेन.
No, sir.
ये रिपोर्ट आई थी कि नहीं होता है. वो सॉल्यूशन भी यही दिया था एक्सपर्ट्स ने कि दे शुड बी ऑडिट.
या दे शुड बी. वर्ल्ड बैंक ने भी कहा है कि फ्लड प्लानिंग, zoning and this auditing, pre-monsoon drain audit should happen. World Bank Flood Risk Report 2023. Floodplain zoning plus pre-monsoon drain audit. Last under this issue will be, is Delhi Metro led transport model inclusive and sustainable? दिल्ली मेट्रो के बारे में तो बात करनी पड़ेगी if you're talking about Delhi. Inclusive or not?
Indian answers can be give like models that have been followed around the world.
Yes.
Okay, so like should we give details about those models also?
If-
Or can we just quote them?
the best idea is to highlight those aspects of that models which has worked. Don't quote Indore model. Quote what aspects of Indore model has worked.
After studying that,
Agartala is like one of the best case studies. So in that, what they have, they focus on pre-monsoon flood zone and altering everything.
And you can talk about that, and also talk up if you have a data to say that this has improved this much. It's always good.
that Netherlands model also. The Netherlands is totally it is built on sea only. So there is a continuous problem of flooding and drainage.
Whenever you give them a data that पहले इतना था अब इतना हो गया इसकी वजह से, that's the best answer. There can never be a counter on a data. आ ही नहीं सकता. Nobody can counter you on that.
Because that has an empirical basis to that.
इसलिए रोहित, you have a solid chance if you bring in data to every answer. Try doing that.
Some data is still debatable. GDP growth is.
No, but these data can't be, like, they will accept you. Okay, coming to this metro, inclusive or not. See, right will say कि it's a transformative success. अब वो तो गरीबों के अगेंस्ट नहीं जा सकते ना, वो तो नहीं कह सकते हाँ बहुत इंक्लूसिव है. Right will also not say बहुत इंक्लूसिव है. Right will say कि transformative success. Right? 7 million riders हैं, reduced congestions हैं, congestion has been reduced at least. नहीं होती तो क्या होता सोचो. फ्यूल सेविंग है, ठीक है. जब होने के बाद इतनी बुरी हाल है तो नहीं होती तो क्या होता. 7 million राइडर्स हैं. तो ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव सक्सेस, राइट विल कॉल दिस एज अ ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव सक्सेस. लेफ्ट एलिटिस्ट है, एक्सक्लूजनरी है, feeder connectivity is poor, fares are very high for lower income commuters, and pedestrian का जो infrastructure है that has been neglected. This is left का argument. ठीक है. Right on the other hand would say कि Delhi Metro is the benchmark for urban mass transit.
Urban mobility in country. Even RITS was modeled.
And the operational efficiency is 99% of Delhi Metro. That's commendable. And कोई accident नहीं हुआ अब तक major. इतने सालों से चल रही है. You have not seen कोई भी ऐसा massive operational failure जिससे news में आई हो. है ना? It's been like good years now. हाँ. दिल्ली मेट्रो में ना सिक्योरिटी के कंसर्न्स आए हैं आपको, ना ऑपरेशन के कंसर्न आए हैं. द बोथ CISF एंड द मॉडल DMRC, इट्स कमेंडेबल. सो राइट का वही आर्ग्यूमेंट है कि 99% एफिशिएंसी से दिल्ली मेट्रो इज ऑपरेटिंग. ठीक है. बेंचमार्क विच इज अ बेंचमार्क फॉर अर्बन मास ट्रांजिट. ठीक है. एंड कार्बन एमिशंस कम हुए हैं 6.3 लाख टन्स एनुअली. UNFCCC के हिसाब से the carbon emissions have gone down to 6.3 lakh tons annually thanks to Delhi Metro. ठीक है. Polycentric growth हुई है. Growth is not only restricted to some regions. दिल्ली मेट्रो के हिसाब से कहीं से भी दिल्ली का बच्चा या वर्कर या बिजनेस पर्सन can go anywhere and do its job. 100%.
It has promoted safety for women also.
Yeah, better than public your buses and
Better chances for them engaging in the labor force.
yes, but still Delhi Metro also you won't find women at late night in women coaches also. After 10, 11 you won't find them. Delhi's problem, you won't find women. If you go and take, there was a time when I used to leave office at 11 every day. There was a time I never found a woman in women coach. It was all empty. After 10:30 you will not find women in women coaches. Okay, I mean 10 is their last time probably to travel, it looks like. Okay, so yeah, this is right's argument. Left would say 25% of low income workers still rely on informal transport. So in curiosity I wanted to see what is the status of EMUs, these local trains. बिकॉज व्हेन आई वाज यंग माय फादर यूज्ड टू शो कि कहीं जाना भी होता था, वी डिडंट हैव ऑप्शंस उस टाइम, तो लोकल ट्रेन्स में जाना वाज एन ऑप्शन व्हेन मेट्रोज वर नॉट देयर, एंड कहीं छोटा ट्रैवल करना है तो सो आउट ऑफ क्यूरोसिटी आई वेंट एंड सॉ कि भाई क्या है ये लोग, कैसे हैं, बट आई सॉ सेम रश, भी लोग वहाँ चढ़ते हैं कमिंग, मुझे लगा था कि नहीं होता होगा, अब मेट्रो वेट्रो आ गई है, बट स्टिल आप देखोगे लोकल ट्रेन्स में भी लोग बैठे आपको मिलेंगे, अच्छे खासे मिलेंगे, लटके हुए मिलेंगे, राइट। सो आपके जो इनफॉर्मल वर्कर्स हैं जिनके लिए 100-200 रुपये आज भी दिन के खर्च करना बड़ी बात होती है, दे आर स्टिल ट्रैवलिंग इन लोकल ट्रेन्स और योर अदर मीडियम ऑफ, हाँ बस में, आप बस देखो भरा रहता है, डीटीसी बसेस भरी रहती हैं, आप कभी खड़े हो जाओ बस स्टैंड पे उबर का वेट करते हुए, यू वुड सी कि आप कितने प्रिविलेज्ड हो, you would realize your privilege that moment only कि आपके लिए कैब आ रही है एंड देयर आर थाउजेंड्स हंड्रेड्स एक बस में ठुसे हुए हैं, राइट, एंड वो कैसे जा रहे हैं। तो ये 25% ऑफ लो इनकम वर्कर्स दे आर रिलाइंग ऑन द इनफॉर्मल ट्रांसपोर्ट, राइट। कैन वी बिल्ड एन ऐप which integrates metro, e-bus, cycle track, basically an app-based feeder?
It's already in progress.
NCMC.
I think government is also trying to bring its own app and control this. But आप ऐसा कुछ कर सकते हो.
But in this also the problem will be even if you build a cycling lane, it's only the car that will occupy the space. It will be an issue.
Yes. Very true. Very true. Very true.
So Noida has good cycle track lanes, but except for cycles, everything is there.
लंदन का मॉडल है, ऑयस्टर मॉडल है कि फेयर इंटीग्रेशन, तो आप सिमिलर फेयर इंटीग्रेशन यू कैन डू इन डीएमआरसी, डीटीसी, क्लस्टर बसेस। अगर आप फेयर को इंटीग्रेट कर दो कि इतने फेयर में आप कहीं भी चढ़ सकते हो, तो आई थिंक इट विल गिव देम ऑल्सो क्लस्टर, मतलब कि जैसे एक एक्सपेरिमेंट करने के, ऑयस्टर मॉडल, लंदन ऑयस्टर मॉडल। So fair integration across fair, FARE, fair integration across DMRC, DTC, cluster buses. ठीक है. So if you can, London में होता है Oysters model, it's said. I think this is a good solution.
It could be like a daily basis fast.
अब उसमें प्रॉफिट कम होगा आपका ऑफ कोर्स,
But government
और
subsidize
हो सकता है, हाँ गवर्नमेंट सब्सिडाइज थोड़ा हो सकता है, दिल्ली मेट्रो को बहुत लोड उठाना पड़े अपने प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग का, मतलब रिड्यूस हो जाएगा उनका। बट आई थिंक इससे ये होगा कि लिमिटेड फेयर सबके पास है, कोई कहीं भी चढ़ जाए, विल बी बेटर। बट फिर वही है कि मेट्रो वुड कोलैप्स, लोड ही नहीं ले पाएगी अगर आप सबको अलाउ कर दोगे। फिर एक बस और मेट्रो का सेम फेयर हो जाए तो, या उसी फेयर में आप मेट्रो बस इतने लिमिटेड टाइम के लिए कर सकते हो, कांस्टेंट, और आपको लॉजिस्टिकली भी बहुत इम्प्रूव करना पड़ेगा, आपको और मेट्रोज लानी पड़ेंगी। इस फंड पे भी मान लो जो भी टिकट है, डोंट नो 15, 20, 25, 30 एक स्टेशन का, और क्या होगा।
But it's not about, we are not getting in the sense of this is a new expense, right? It could be coming from optimization of the existing funds. So the funds that the TBD were not adding value, right? They're just destroying value. Why not put them somewhere else? For example, we might have some transport plan. If you think, okay, this is not going to add value, there's a lot of good development happening again and again. वहाँ से आप डालेंगे यहाँ पे डाल सकते हो. You can pilot it in a specific area and see if it making sense. Right? There are a couple of metros जो खाली होते हैं, right? That कोई area route is खाली, so वहाँ पे आप try कर सकते हो.
यस, एब्सोल्युटली कर सकते हो।
Rather than full scale or busy tracks.
नो एब्सोल्युटली सही है। ठीक है, व्हाट एल्स कैन वी डिस्कस? I think we've discussed the major issues. We can discuss few more if you want.
law and order, public safety.
वही पुलिसिंग में आ गया, किसके कंट्रोल में होनी चाहिए, वही इशू आएगा.
What's like the reason of rising crime rates in Delhi?
Okay, yes.
There is a reason for it. Delhi was not the highest in terms of share of population.
Okay, if we talk about culture, has migration enriched or diluted Delhi's cultural identity? बताओ. बहुत लोग diluted भी मानते हैं.
I don't think in country like India we can talk anything like dilution because India is formed on the basis of tradition of culture.
Fragmented coexistence.
No, India is a different manner. I don't think Delhi has a original culture, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's just the basis, right? Most of the culture is just people coming in and adding their value. Other areas have this, okay, there's a big history, but Delhi doesn't have its original identity per se. Whatever's coming, we take it and create something.
This area, Karol Bagh, Rajendra Nagar, have been built by Punjabi refugees.
These lands were given to refugees.
Yes. Right? And every decade there have been some linguistic clusters coming to Delhi. UP, Bihar, Northeast, Tamil Nadu coming, including कुछ हो ही जा रहा है. छठ कब से दिल्ली का त्योहार हो जाएगा?
From last 3 to 5 years, Chhat Puja.
क्यों? Because
some sort of safety and law and order problem in a sense of there's less familiarity with the people. Have you example, if I have to take a lift from unknown person in Indore, I won't take it on any day. But if I have to take it in Delhi, I won't take it. So I think that's the negative side for me.
left is saying कि coexistence is not bad, but it's fragmented. ठीक है? It's not integrated. तो इससे divide और बढ़ रहा है. Right? So economic migration without civic assimilation fosters enclaves and not community. That's what left would say अगर एक argument देना हो. बाकी तो nobody will deny this in India, of course. ठीक है? But linguistic segregation is there ना. You would see Punjabi colonies, Bihari colony, Bengali colony. ये सब आपको बहुत मिलेगा दिल्ली में.
Gated communities also.
हाँ, gated communities आपको मिलेगा. नॉर्थ ईस्ट के अपने हब्स मिलेंगे, है ना? वो yes.
You have prominent places where only
xenophobic का टैग मिलने लगता है आपको. You're called an outsider. By whom I don't know.
even there is a class divide.
Yeah, class divide is also there. ठीक है. See, 2011 census said that only 20% of Delhiites are natives. ठीक है. To Delhi. तो जो 20% ही लोग दिल्ली के हैं वही ओरिजिनली दिल्ली के हैं. 80% लोग दिल्ली के हैं ही नहीं दिल्ली में. ठीक है.
How do they even decide natives?
भाई सेंसस का जो प्रोसेस होगा, हाँ, जो सेंसस का मैकेनिज्म होगा, कितने जनरेशन से आप रह रहे हो, हाँ, 3 से ऊपर हो, 4 हो, है ना?
Independence के time पे बाहर से आए थे.
हाँ, ये पूरी कॉलोनी या राजेंद्र नगर में आपको हार्डली कोई मिलेगा जो ओरिजिनल दिल्ली का इनहैबिटेंट होगा. पाकिस्तान से आधे लोग आए हुए थे, आधे ज़्यादा लोग वही है. जितने भी लैंडलॉर्ड्स आप देख रहे हो सब, आप पूछो उनसे, बात करो कभी, दे विल टेल यू अबाउट द हिस्ट्री. ठीक है. तो वो हो गया. देन अपना इज दिल्ली लूजिंग हेरिटेज अंडर मॉडर्न अर्बनाइजेशन. हेरिटेज वर्सेस
I think on a broader level till now it's going towards it. We have been losing, but at the same time, modern urbanization has opened doors where we can actually preserve it if we want to. Because now the space is so vast and the mechanism is very fast as well.
and see, किला, पुराना किला etc have been restored also, right, through adaptive projects only.
technology is being brought into.
तो आपको पकड़ ऐसा नहीं, आप टच नहीं कर सकते हो. Redevelopment is necessary, right? You can't live in nostalgia forever. right?
There are cases where it's not more urbanized, but still there's damage to its like property. Right? There have been cases in MP or other states where they've just pulled a pillar which was stone, a card previously as per the part, but now it's the central pillar or put together. That's even a bad damage for me. I don't think urbanization itself is the cause; it just increases a bit.
Pragati Maidan, Central Vista. You know, these are what symbols of modern heritage making. Central Vista. हाँ हाँ पुरानी दिल्ली ठीक है but left would say essentially that it's losing urbanization is erasing the living heritage right narrow focus is there on monuments Purani Delhi residents have been displaced in Chandni Chowk redevelopment left would really not favor
redevelopment
Yeah.
of the old enclaves.
correct the same issue with respect to building corridors also religious corridors
Yeah.
they would not yeah
Gandhi Mathura corridor
they would always bring in the point that you're displacing
displacement.
and especially the craftsmen and bangle makers etc they are losing their space and identity because they're known to be there in that place only ठीक है Istanbul has a good model of historic core redevelopment. We'll have to read the aspects that can be applied to Delhi.
So recently they also converted the Hagia Sophia secular space back into a mosque.
Yeah, of course. I do agree. They're not fair enough. There is intact data, INTACH. What's intact? Indian National Trust for Art and Culture Heritage. Intact data says that 70% of Havelis in Shah Jahanabad have lost in 30 years. Okay. Delhi Heritage Commission empower कर दो with more enforcement power. आप कर सकते हो ऐसा नहीं है ठीक है पोल्यूशन हो गया कंस्ट्रक्शन हो गया डबल बर्निंग हो गई क्या कर सकते हैं डिस्कस अगर करना हो तो we can talk about full statehood पे we have talked about financially autonomy पे हो गई बात तो बेसिक आपको 239 ए बी ये सब तो पता ही होगा आई एम श्योर इतना तो we can't really teach
Education health we talked about.
No. Did we miss that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, let's talk about that. So, are mohalla clinics replicable nationwide?
Those are not successful.
Okay. What are the concerns with respect to health in Delhi?
Like lack of doctors and lack of beds, first of all. Then high cost required in the private hospitals. And I would say
And linked to the 50% data that we got, right? The people are living around the lake, so we can just say half the population is not even on capacity.
it's a hygiene issue.
Government
Higher out of
hospitals
pocket
are
expenditure.
That's in general everywhere, no?
So,
Do you have some Delhi specific health issues, like health problems?
Certainly, yes.
it's a respiratory problem.
Environment.
So, what is your take on mohalla clinics, by the way?
I think like the model of the mohalla clinics can be bolstered in other districts also, where the primary health centers can be multiplied in number. because they are doing the same job as the mohalla clinics only, but there are no
The
doctors.
PHCs.
Yes, the PHCs. There are no doctors and they are very less in number. So I think they can be scaled up and how do you
Okay. PHCs, the in general concerns of PHCs versus the same thing you think is also a concern of mohalla clinic. Anyhow, mohalla clinic was better than PHCs. को लगता है कि वहाँ पे न्यूज में क्यों आया?
So because of a WHO
हाँ
report
हाँ
that acknowledged the success of mohalla clinic and
Yes.
advertised with the government as well. It has been reckoned as a good governance solution.
So idea can be replaced, right? Forget ideologies. Every mohalla has a clinic.
decentralized solution?
And that too, so people blame mohalla clinics for not being able to deal with very tertiary kind of diseases, specialized diseases. But that is not the whole purpose of PHC, the mohalla clinic is. It is about dealing with
Primary level.
Yeah, preventive healthcare issues.
Yes.
Not curative specifically. And curative, that too at a preliminary level.
The curative can be done in the medicines are also like very affordable.
Initial screening and other kind of activities, diagnostics can be there. And then they can be referred to the 4-tier model of healthcare that we have.
So it's a Delhi model replicable across India, basically, health and education both.
Personally, I think there is a lot of neglection on the side because they don't properly screen the patient and line medicine.
Is it because doctors are not trained or logistically they are not?
Because the same doctor is sitting in the
Private
government
clinics
hospitals and then they're coming to the mohalla clinic because mohalla clinics are not functional 24/7. They have a particular slot throughout the day for which they
So the autonomy has to be decentralized.
Yes.
Absolutely would agree to this, right? Without decentralization of autonomy and political will and fiscal prioritization, any good model can't be replicated anywhere. These are not ideological based questions. Because nobody denies the importance of healthcare or education, right or left, right? But Delhi also has this good per capita revenue.
Inequality is very high.
Inequality is very high.
The inequality is
Very high. Yes.
So I think in the mohalla
Delhi
clinics-
could manage somehow to build so many mohalla clinics also. Right? And in education also, Delhi was ranked 1 in quality education by Niti Aayog 2022. So Delhi did process some innovations, right? Happy classes, yes.
the happy curriculum.
Absolutely, yes. That was appreciated worldwide.
So the startup also, they started with the startup program.
So the wider, okay, so everybody of us agree that, this should be happening. But see, is it mohalla clinic, is it about accessible healthcare or optics? Populist, or is it a populist policy, or is it about accessible healthcare?
So accessible healthcare.
Right? That is something we all agree to this, right?
I prefer in the education part of it.
You differ
For the education part, not
for that.
because for education I differ because I think I've talked to a few people and there have been mostly optics for education. They started initially well in terms of their agenda and what they wanted to do, but then it went about paperwork and then doing targets. So the neglect was there in terms of the quality education and the student focus, and more on the side of what are the things that we are doing that we can showcase.
We can showcase.
So it's visible goals versus actual improvement.
Actually, different from the point. Today only in the newspaper there was a report that in Delhi the government school versus the private schools and the preschools. So the infrastructure was better in the government preschools than the private preschools, but hygiene was better in the private preschools.
Yeah.
So infrastructure versus hygiene. In infrastructure, government preschools are way better in Delhi.
I'm talking about the level of education. I'm talking about the infra and the logistics. That is
Definitely there has been an improvement.
No, so mohalla clinic is a genuine innovation. 100%.
So it
Right?
was brought in from Cuba.
Yeah.
So it's
Last mile. It's giving you a last mile to connect. It's low cost primary healthcare, right? Which is reducing OPD burdens on hospitals, etc. Right? And 550 plus clinics are serving in Delhi, right? With 1.5 crore visit. This is Delhi's health department, 2023. At 550 plus clinics are serving and 1.5 crores visit. Okay.
So, but I think now we are being shut down in some places.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're
For a good reason. They will be renamed as Arogya Mandirs. That is something you expect. Even Aam Aadmi Party would have done the same. That's politics at its best. But ultimately, yeah, citizens should be at advantage no matter Arogya Mandir mein ho ya Mohalla Clinic mein ho. How does that?
So I think there is a scheme TM Bharatiya Jan Arogya Pariyojana,
Huh.
in which the medicines are given at
Affordable rate, yes.
and the insurance model also. These could be integrated with the Mohalla clinics. But
आयुष्मान भारत के अंडर ले आएंगे.
yes, sir.
Ayushman Bharat was not brought in two states, West Bengal and
अब आ जाएगा. But Delhi government used to boast about their own healthcare policy being better than Ayushman Bharat.
They even used to say that people from NCR are coming to Delhi hospitals for getting.
Right. But yeah, Mohalla Clinic, according to Lancet, also reduced the outpatient load by 18% in tertiary hospitals. And Delhi was spending 14% on health also of its budget, which is more than the national average of 5%. That 18% load in tertiary hospital have been reduced outpatient. Mohalla clinics have done that. Right? But then CAG also says that 60% clinics are only operational full time. Right? Which is also a problem. There is no integrated linkage with hospitals. So वो अपनी राह चल रहे हैं, हॉस्पिटल अपनी राह चल रहे हैं. ठीक है. And as you said, e-संजीवनी वगैरह से लिंक कर सकते हो इसको. With health and education, I think there should be also performance-linked funding. आप perform करो, fund ले लो. Simple है.
Finance condition is good.
हाँ. ये बहुत अच्छा way forward है. Performance-led funding.
In addition to the top-down funding and allocation, right? What China did is they did it at a local level, at a very ground level. What I mean by that is, let's say you are an MCD person, you're employed out there. Even your 5% or 10% salary, whatever you are earning right now,
Will
on
go.
top of that, you would be given that for the KPI, right? There's a decrease in daily cases by this much, you get something else. We see China as a very centralized economy, but they did 30, 40 years back. There was pretty massive.
So with respect to Mohalla clinics, the core conflict was access versus quality. ठीक है. Public education will be again quality versus reach. Fiscal policy में क्या हो सकता है कि welfare versus populism. So always have this core conflict in mind. Efficiency versus equity. ठीक है. यही पूछेंगे दिल्ली का मॉडल. Nothing else with respect to that. You should have data and figures. Replicable है या नहीं across India, I leave that to you. These were genuinely good models, but उसका India-wise implementation has, or Delhi implementation also has concerns. Such politics, yeah. ठीक है.
I don't think we should think about this replicating across India, right? There's so many different states. So states will work like startups and experimenting at their own level. And keep on evolving it, right? We shouldn't be stagnant. If police accounts for the better model, why not have that? But ultimately, governance at a state level, right? Why are we thinking that okay, this has to be replicated at a national level? Because central level policy should be kept separate. Education at the state level, right? So let the state do this, recommend it to them. If they want to do it, it's fine. Otherwise, they want to do something better.
Correct. Do we have more issues to discuss? I think we have generally discussed issues, right? और जो broader पहले के जो 10 themes लिखे थे, like they are the macro themes. The important ones we have discussed: education, health, pollution.
Do we have any case study for women's safety aspect or this?
I'll have to see my data again. I'll text you on WhatsApp if I have. Which works also, na? Which is not mains oriented basically. I mean, so the research has to go one level above. So I just can't make you write mains fodder. It's very easy for me to make you write mains fodder. तो हर एक आंसर में I'll give you fodders. But इसमें क्या है कि
There is this comparison between Mumbai and Delhi in terms of women's safety.
because Mumbai is genuinely better. 100%. At Mumbai, I can take a class at 11:30 and not worry about my female students to go back home safely.
That has something to do with the culture part as well. You said that 20% are native versus 50% are not. When Marathis are there, they take care of the responsibility and images well, right?
This is a very regional specific bias.
Yeah. No, I've been to different states. So this is
I have moved in Maharashtra.
Okay, fine, guys. It's very subjective to your own opinions. But yes, Mumbai is safer than Delhi, 100%. Lot safer than Delhi.
Yes, sir. The report says.
Okay, you disagree there?
So, sir, the culture part.
The culture part, okay. Nah, sure. That
Culture
can.
is something which is very.
Patriarchy also has a role, like, or not? Do you think they are more liberal in terms of seeing women?
There might be some, if you do a survey or some testing, there might be some difference. But I don't think it's different at pan India level. Even in Himachal, there have been instances of rape cases.
Yeah. At religious places, bestest of religious places, you would find rape cases happening.
Things that are being done in the city. For example, Mumbai is famous for arts and like Bollywood, etc. So there is a culture right here for respecting women's safety and Delhi is lacking these.
As women, what do you feel? Isha, Archita.
No, I think it's the patriarchy region.
यहाँ ज़्यादा है.
But यहाँ पे लोग यहाँ
ईशा,
I also feel the cultural issue.
कल्चरल इशू है. उनसे ही पूछना चाहिए ना जिनको सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट होता है.
Not being taken up for the
No, I'll of course search on some model. मैं आपको भेजता हूँ groups में कि is there any worldwide model or India specific model that we can replicate with respect to Delhi's women's safety also.
asking because NCRB report came in.
नहीं सही है. Good point.
The government has started
Any
24
specific concerns related to the economy of India?
No, the similar like everywhere's economy, same infrastructure, everything. There's no difference between any states. Everybody would want industries and economy, services sector. It's a mixed bag. It's still a mix. Yeah, majorly that. Manufacturing and will have some share probably. Yeah. Agriculture तो nothing. दिखता ही नहीं आपको खेती नहीं दिखती दिल्ली में तो.
When they say that we are giving MSPs, I'm just wondering if Delhi has farm.
No, Delhi में MSP is not an issue, of course. But if you're reading a national newspaper and MSP is in the headlines, it is your matter to prepare an opinion. वहाँ ये नहीं कह सकते मैं दिल्ली से हूँ मेरा इशू नहीं है. हेडलाइन आ गई, न्यूज़ में आ गया, मुझे ओपिनियन बनाना है. सिंपल. ठीक है. Wonderful class. I loved the participation. I wish I could have continued more, but there are certain time restraints that we all have to abide by it. Wonderful. Thank you. See you in the next class if you all will be available offline. Online, of course. Thank you.